Welcome to the Estate Professionals Mastermind podcast, built for real estate professionals that want to work less, earn more, and make an impact in their community. For information on how you can become part of the Estate Professionals community, visit probatemastery.com. Welcome in, guys. Good to see some familiar faces. This is the Estate Professionals Mastermind. We do this every Tuesday at 2 o'clock. This, for those that have never been over onto our podcast platform, Estate Professionals Mastermind, or onto our YouTube channel, Probate Mastery. The recordings of these do drop there. So if you've ever missed something, want to watch again, you're welcome to go there. If you've never been here and joined us live and been able to ask questions, I encourage you guys to do that. If you're watching or listening on podcast or YouTube platform, we do this every Tuesday. Just jump over to probatemastery.com. Up at the top of the page, you're going to see a free weekly coaching call on the menu bar. Sign up for that. You'll get invited to these calls. You get to ask your questions, lurk in the background. If you're not already a Probate Mastery subscriber, you can lurk and hear what other people are doing. We're here to answer any questions that you guys have. So if you have questions, stories, success stories, challenges, anything like that, I want to ask you guys to do it. Raise your hand if you want to engage. So just go down to the bottom of your screen, click react, and raise your hand. If you can't figure out how to do that, jump up and down, turn your camera on, wave at me, get my attention somehow. It's really good to see a bunch of people that I already know and that I already know are going to pile the questions on or share the success stories. It's good to see you guys. I do have a hand up, and I have no idea how to pronounce your name. It's
Oscar. My name is Oscar.
Askar.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Good to see you. What do you have for us today?
Okay. I'm a newcomer, and this is my first time, joining this call.
Okay.
I just purchased the Probate Mastery course like 2 days ago. I'm going through the material, so I'm excited to join the meeting. I have like a couple of questions. I already, applied to join the Facebook for the Estate Professional Mastermind, and I got the registration in that one. But I am still waiting for the Probate Mastery alumni Facebook group. So I'm still waiting for my, access to
Great. Lou or Queenie, somebody jump over to that Facebook group and let him in right now, please. All right, good.
And can you please tell me what's the difference between these two Facebook groups? So what kind of question I can ask in
Yeah. I like to ask my questions and share things in both. The Estate Professionals Mastermind Facebook group is open for everybody. If it's somebody that serves or wants to serve the estate administration or probate community, they can join. Probate Mastery alumni is only those who've taken Probate Mastery. So you're going to get a more refined group of people that you're networking with in Probate Mastery alumni Facebook group. They're going to have a higher level of education and a higher level of commitment into the probate and the estate niche. Estate Professionals Mastermind, might get dabblers. They're both great groups. When I am asking for a referral or sharing a referral or sharing a story or asking for experience, I often post in both. Because, sometimes Facebook decides to show members one over the other. So I don't know what Facebook is going to choose to show if I only post in one of the groups. But I think it's valuable to be inside of both of them, especially if you are taking Probate Mastery.
Okay. And next Tuesday, I registered for this probate mastery, probate foundation live next Tuesday.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So
Let me
go
go ahead, and then I'll jump in and share a little bit about that.
So does it mean that next Tuesday we won't have this call? Only we have a probate foundation live tomorrow. Next Tuesday.
That should be Wednesday. Let me double check the date. It's supposed to be
July 2nd, you said.
I am looking at the date while you're on here. So it's Wednesday at 12:30 Eastern time. And let me just make sure that we yeah, Wednesday the 2nd at 12:30 Eastern time. So it should not be a conflict.
Oh, it's Wednesday, it's not Tuesday. Okay, got
Yeah.
it.
Yep.
Mm.
Now, um, let me let you and anyone else here know what that class is. That class for those that are in probate mastery might be a little bit basic. It might not. There's a couple of things that I share in that class that are not in probate mastery, but for the most part, they're more basic things. So, Probate Foundations is designed to give someone a quick and free 30,000 foot view of the probate niche so that they can decide if they're going to pursue the probate and estate niche. It's kind of a classical hour and a half long webinar that's like, hey, here are the numbers, here's the conversion that you can expect, things like that. I do get into some numbers on that call that we don't share in Mastery because I assume people in Mastery already know those numbers. So, how much business can you actually get in probate? So, we go over that. If you're unfamiliar, please join that call. It's good. But what you're getting in Mastery is more advanced than you're going to get on that call.
Okay. And to join this call, can I use the same link that I used today, or every week you will send a new link to join this call?
I believe it's the same link. I believe it's the same link. Lou or Queenie, please confirm. Can you, one of you, go over to Zoom and double check? I'll confirm that for you here in just a few minutes. I think it's going to be the same link each week,
The,
though.
the Tuesday coaching call is always the same.
Same. Thanks, Lou.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
But Probate Foundations is not.
Yeah. All right. I see. That's why I have to have good team members. They know my system better than I do sometimes.
And
Good. What
you,
else do you have?
just one question, like you mentioned earlier, that if I miss this call live, then I can go to your YouTube channel to see the recording.
That's right. We send it out in an email, normally several days later. It goes on YouTube within a day or two. It also gets posted in the Facebook groups.
Okay.
Um, So the link for Probate Foundations, we're gonna put a link in the show notes on Buzzsprout and YouTube. We're also gonna drop a link to register for Foundations in chat. Queenie, if I could have you do that, we'll put it in chat here in just a second if anyone wants to join Probate Foundations. I do not want certified probate experts that have been through Mastery showing up and expecting it to be as valuable as Mastery is, but it's still something that a lot of people come to. It's funny, I have people that have been through Mastery 3 or 4 times and jump onto Foundations every time we have it. So you guys are welcome to show up if you're already and exactly, Helen, as a refresher. It's a great refresher course. And if you guys are exploring, if anyone's exploring kind of whether the estate and the probate niche might be a decent fit for you. It's a really great class that we do typically every 3 4 weeks. There's also an on-demand version in the link that Queenie just dropped into the chat. All right. Thanks, Eskar. Appreciate it. If you have any other questions, pop your hand up. I'll call on you again. Let's go to Robin.
Hey, Bruce. So I have a question about the foundations class. I've got a fellow realtor who already works with an estate attorney she has done for about 20 years, but she wants to get her designation. Would there be any value in her going through the foundation class, or does she just need to go to the website?
If she goes to the foundation class, I will give a discount code at the end of the foundation class. So if she wants
I
a
forgot
little bit
that.
off, come to Foundations. If she
Okay.
just wants to buy and you tell her that, she can always just email support at probatemastery.com or technically sales at probatemastery.com and go to Lou. I'm sure Lou would be happy to provide that same discount code if she doesn't want to wait.
Oh,
Because
that's
that's a
nice.
week
So
out. If she's
sales.
ready to get going, Lou at sales at probatemastery.com can get that for you.
Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yep. Awesome. Okay, Camille, what's happening? Go ahead and unmute yourself. See if you can unmute.
There we go. I couldn't get my mouse to
Yeah.
go over there. Quick couple of quick questions. Number one, caller ID. When I call somebody, should I have my caller ID showing up just as my name, or as I have North Florida Probate Services and I have a website on that? Should I do it that way or just have it as my name?
Yeah, I don't normally sort of push my name through caller ID um, for a couple of reasons. One is I never know if that phone number is eventually going to get kind of burned as potential spam. So going through the hoops of setting it up where caller ID shows up for someone that doesn't know you takes a couple of hoops to jump through. It's not overly complicated, but it takes a few hoops to jump through. And then your number shows up as possible spam, and now you got to go do it on a new number again.
You just leave it without, I'm still trying to figure out how to do it. I've got my telephones with Xfinity,
Mhm.
and apparently one of my telephones shows up as one of my other companies, and I don't know how it got that way, and I don't know how to change it.
So you're registered. If it got that way, it means that you are registered with the carriers. So someone, you or Xfinity has gone into the carrier services and they've registered you and your phone number. So I use soft phones when I prospect. You're with Xfinity, they may be soft phones, but they're actually running through a carrier. So
Okay.
it's registering you. If it's going to register you anyway, I would probably use my probate company name if they're going to register you anyway. For those that don't have soft phones or anything, I use Just Call. So justcall.io. Um, I prepay for a year, so I think it's like $19 per user seat in there. Lou just put it in chat. And I have to pay an extra $5 or $6 per phone number that I tie to those seats. So what happens is I'll go and buy a single user seat, or if I have multiple people on my team, I'll buy a couple of user seats at that $19, $25, something like that every month. And then I will add, let's say I add 7 or 8 phone numbers in that I'm going to spread across my team, or maybe I'm going to use all those phone numbers myself. Those are each $5, $6 a piece per month. They're not a lot, but they add a little bit to it. And then I just let those numbers run. I don't put a caller ID associated with them except for the number. What I'm doing when I prospect is I'm trying to match the phone number to the area that I'm calling in. That's number one. But number two is I don't want to call more than about 40 dials on any number on any given day. About 40. The real number is 50. I play safe and I go 40. So if I'm going to make an average of 120 calls per day, that means I want to have 3 phone numbers. Once you consistently trip 50 and it's consistent, the carrier looks at you and says, this person, the carriers, says this person is making an abnormal number of calls with this number, and it's consistent. We keep seeing this number, an abnormally high number of calls. This is not a normal personal use. They must be spamming. And of course, we're not. But they think they must be spamming. So that's where your phone number shows up as possible spam. Another way that your phone number could show up as possible spam is if somebody reports you. They don't like the fact that you called, they report you. That periodically happens. And you get reported, your phone number is kind of burned. You can jump through hoops to fix the phone number and unflag it as possible spam, but then it might happen again if somebody ever reports it. So I prefer to get these cheap phone numbers and keep each number under 40 dials per day so that if it ever gets flagged as spam, I don't have to jump through all these extra hoops of getting the phone number unblocked or unflagged, only to get it flagged again. I just delete the number, I get rid of it, I get a new phone number, and I call on that. And I want to be really clear for those of you that are going, if you're getting flagged as spam, you're obviously spamming. We are absolutely not spamming. We're calling people that are on public records. They've published notice in the newspaper. They've said for estate-related services, you should call me. We're calling them. Many of them are very open and receptive to our call, but every now and then someone goes, how dare you call me with the service that you're offering? And they report you as spam every now and then. And if that happens, the carriers just kind of take their word for it and go, this person must be a spammer. Or if you're consistently going over 50 calls on a number, the carrier goes, this person must be a spammer. And rather than try to go into all the carriers and make my case for why they need to unreport my number, I'd rather just get rid of the number and get a new one for $5 a month. Okay.
Thank
There's
you.
a lot of different phone systems that you can do that. So if you're running through Xfinity, I would look and see if you can swap numbers out relatively affordably. With Xfinity, they're putting a caller ID on you because they have a direct relationship with one of the major three carriers.
Okay, I didn't even know that it wasn't showing up as my name until I called my aunt and she wouldn't answer the telephone because it was showing up as one of my website addresses.
Yeah.
And so she was like, I just had this person calling me like 4 times in a row and I didn't answer it because it was a spam call. And it was me. I don't know how that happened.
Yep. The Xfinity thinks that they know what business you're running off of that, and
Yeah.
they're just putting it on there. It's because they are not one of the major three carriers. They're tied to one of the major three carriers, but they're
Right.
directly tied in, and so they're kind of assigning you to a business.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, amazing. Great question. All right, what else do we have, guys? Hey guys, I'm butting in here with a quick ask. If you're getting value out of this coaching today, I want to invite you to check out my Probate Mastery trainings over at www.probatemastery.com. Probate Mastery is for you if you're an agent or an investor that wants to work with motivated sellers that have inherited real estate that they don't need and in many cases can't afford. These sellers are more appreciative, willing to trust your expertise, and less likely to nickel and dime you over commission or price. Why is that? They're often in the middle of a complex probate or an estate administration process, and this means that real estate is very often a burden on them, and they simply need the help. Inside of Probate Mastery, I teach you exactly where to source your leads, how to establish value, and offer your service in a way that quickly makes you, as the professional, your market's expert in the probate space. If you want to know a little bit more, go over to www.probatemastery.com. Hope to see you guys inside of the community. Thanks. Keith.
Hey Bruce, I dropped it in the chat, but how do you know if your number has been flagged as spam?
Well, this is an age-old argument, and I've had several people tell me, "Hey, you need to just send your number, make the argument to all the carriers, and get them to give you a caller ID and prove that you're not ever going to be a spammer, and that'll take care of it." A lot of times, I just it's complicated for most of us, including myself, and I don't want to go through that. So the way that I check our phone numbers is I periodically just call friends and colleagues and ask what I'm showing up as. If you see a substantial dip in your answer rate over the course of 3-4 days in a row, you better double check it. You better check it. So approximately every week on our team, we just call each other to our cell phones, not to our soft phones. We'll call our cell phones just to see how it shows up. Does that add a manual process into the mix and add a little complexity? Yeah, absolutely. But I'd rather make a couple of extra calls every week just to check than be surprised because I don't have anyone answering the phone. And if you're calling, it's best to call someone on Verizon, someone else on AT&T, And then somebody chime in and tell me what the third major carrier is, because it's just escaping my mind right now. Maybe T-Mobile. I think it's T-Mobile, AT&T, and Verizon. So it's better to have someone that you can call on all three of those. If one flags you, the others have probably flagged you, but not. That's not a rule.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah,
Another question, if you got a minute, Bruce.
go for it.
So, not new to the probate space, but new to your guys' certification and course, about a third of the way through. Just had a meeting with an attorney partner yesterday, and we've come to an agreement to co-develop a class together. Wondering if there's any materials that you guys have already created as an outline, or maybe a PowerPoint deck or something along those lines, that we could maybe rip off and duplicate, send to my R&D department.
Really good question. And unfortunately, that's a great idea that I should do, but no. I would rip off a couple of YouTube videos that some of our students have had with probate attorneys and use a few of those questions and answers to form your basics, just to form the basics. Now, I assume that if you do an attorney class or webinar or seminar or something like that, I assume that it's probably going to be around avoiding probate, setting up an estate plan, or were you thinking about doing it for
Kind of the general, a high level class in and around probate, estates, living trusts, things along those lines, just to
yeah.
get kind of some basic information out there, a means to touch our database, advertise, to drive as many of the general public there to then, start developing the relationship with both my real estate team and the law firm.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna do something real quick just to see how bad, how much refinement it's gonna take, but I'm gonna show you exactly where I would start. And we lean on this stuff too much. So if you're going to use something like ChatGPT, and for those listening on podcast, I'm sharing my screen right now. If you want to see my screen, jump over to our YouTube channel. If you're listening after the fact, somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 minutes in is where the screen share starts. So I'm just jumping over to ChatGPT, who does have a really good understanding of my business and kind of what we're doing here. So I'm jumping over here, and I'm just I want an outline that I can build off of. And I think it's also very important that you guys know that the better your prompts, the better you frame your question, the better response you're going to get. So I usually like to say, act like a high level course developer with a specialty in creating leads and signups. Okay, so I'm telling it act like a high-level course developer with a specialty in creating leads and signups, develop a high-level class or seminar, outline on the estate planning and the estate administration process. I want an outline that I can build off of. Will refine later. Okay. Now, I'm going to try to show you one of our students that has done a really good job with an attorney here recently of bringing them in more for a YouTube video setting, but they asked a lot of questions and expanded a lot. And I think that they had a really good interview. So here's what ChatGPT gave me. It gave me a seminar title, an objective, an audience, high-level class structure. So welcome, three-part estate framework. So part one, plan it, prove it, pass it. Have no idea what those mean. It's doing exactly what I told it to do, and go like 30,000 foot view, and we'll refine later. But planning the estate, wills versus trust, power of attorneys, the big four documents every family should have. That's really good. After death. So you could literally just kind of rip this off. What I'm going to do, I am going to create a link that you guys, those that are interested in this, you can use the framework that I just gave it, just as kind of a basic a framework to go in and ask, and I'm putting that link so that you can look at the chat and the outline that it just gave me into chat right now. It's going to be in the show notes if you're listening after the fact. Is that semi helpful, Keith?
Yeah, no, it's great. And I'm definitely a heavy user of AI stuff. Working with another attorney to generate a video series as well. But I went into Grok and asked it specifically to search for Colorado specific questions that users are asking, because that's my state, my area where I'm practicing. And then it developed a 7 or 8 mini series basically with questions for me as the interviewer to ask. So looking
Yeah.
forward to rolling that piece out as well.
Amazing. Okay. So let me
And
find.
just a reminder, Bruce, if you wouldn't mind dropping that YouTube channel in where
Yep,
the interview session.
absolutely. I am looking for the YouTube now on a different screen. So really good. Okay. So here we go. All right, I'm going to drop the link in here in a couple of short minutes. I'm just digging through my emails um, to see where the recording is. Okay, we'll have it. We'll have it in the chat as soon as I drop it. I'll let you know. I'll let everybody know that it's in there. It's Brad Green out in San Diego. He did just a really good recording with an attorney that would make for some great questions. Now, there's another list of questions that I frequently ask attorneys. I'm also going to find that. You guys are catching me where I'm trying to carry conversation with everyone here, but I'm also over on another screen looking for links and different things like that I can share with you. So if you have anything else, just chime in. I've got you up. Let me go back to Camille. Your hand, I think, is back up. I don't know if that
Yes.
was okay. Perfect.
I
What do you
didn't
have?
want to ask too many questions, but on all the leads, when I get the leads, there's the telephone numbers, and there might be like 5 or 6 of them, and they're red and the green.
Mhm.
And so I hesitate on calling. I know not to call the reds because they're blocked or they have the no call thing on them. How do you get better telephone numbers? Are you like scanning or skipping?
Well, what you have to realize is that a lot of carriers are automatically flagging some numbers as do not call. Some numbers were flagged as do not call many, many, many years ago. Um, Sometimes before the user even picked that phone number up. Other times they may have moved their number onto the do not call list when it was extremely popular to do so. 15 years ago, kind of had a little bit of a wave, and maybe they forgot. Okay. Maybe they've just put it on there and they're a litigator. We don't know. Okay. We don't know. I will tell you that the people, especially the personal representatives that are on, oh, beautiful. Queenie, by the way, Queenie just put up a Facebook link to Brad Green's post, Brad Green's interview with an attorney. So that's in chat right now for you guys to look at. So back to before my ADD moment, the typical personal representative that is on that list has gone through the court system. They've put themselves into the public domain, probably unwillingly and maybe unknowingly put themselves into the public domain by filing a probate petition that they maybe didn't. If they had a choice, they wouldn't have wanted to get labeled as personal representative, contact me for all estate needs. Maybe they wouldn't have wanted that. That's another reason that people should avoid probate if they're living and creating an estate plan. Is you're going to open your personal representative, your executor, up to solicitation and phone calls when they go into the public domain, and they typically list their phone number on applications, and then after the judge approves the probate, then they run an ad in the newspaper that says, hey, I'm running an estate. This is a notice to creditors. Call me with estate-related needs. So this is totally gray area. I am not going to say, hey, call everybody. I'm also not going to say you cannot call them. I'm telling you that there's a big gray area here where you are calling them with estate-based services, on something that they've put themselves onto public records. Typically, that phone number is going to be somehow published on an application if it's the one that they used on their application, and if it's the one that they used in the newspaper. If I went out and I put my phone number online, I'm a realtor, so you better bet my phone number is online. But I also have that phone number on the do not call list. Well, I have no leg to stand on when somebody calls me and I say I'm on the do not call list, and they say, "Well, your phone number is also on 50,000 websites out there." So the phone number very frequently, especially if it's the top one, is very frequently published in a lot of areas. Now, um, with that said, you got to be careful. When I call, the jumping jacks that I do, the logical jumping jacks and backflips that I do to justify it, are to say I am offering them a service. I'm really not selling anything. That service and that relationship does often lead to a real estate transaction. It does often lead to something that I can offer them for a fee. In the beginning of my relationship, I usually am not bringing up real estate until I've made my primary offer. And my primary offer is resources and guidance through the probate process. And I make it extremely easy for them to say, "No, I don't really need that right now," or "Hey, I'll give you a call if I ever need anything." And that disarms 99% of everyone that I would call, regardless of whether that number has an X on it or a checkbox on it. Right. There's some other people on here that are going to have a different opinion. I'm more than welcome to hear some of those different opinions. I know Bill Gross, you don't call. David Pinnell, I think you do only letters. There are people that have weighed out the pros and cons and the risks and benefits of this for their businesses, and they've made decisions not to call, and they're still successful. I've weighed out the risks and benefits, and I've made the decision to call. So you guys kind of weigh it out for yourself and figure out what you're comfortable doing and justifying for yourself, because it's an ethical, can be ethically gray.
I would love to not call because I don't have time. It's like every day it seems like I'm buying houses and I've got a closing over here and I've got something over here and I've got this person I've got to meet. I got to go see about this house. I just never seem to have, okay, every Tuesday from 12 to 2, I'm going to sit down and make telephone calls. And then I've thought about outsourcing it, but I'm not sure about outsourcing. I thought about giving it to my VA to do, but then again, I'm just not sure exactly which way. I'd
Sure.
love to hear more David's stuff about how he never calls.
Yeah. Well, we'll get David to chime in here in just a second. From an outsourcing standpoint, well, first off, let's deal with not outsourcing. Let's pretend
Bruce, I
that
do got to
you-
leave, and I got to show probate house actually
Okay.
for investors.
Give me
Uh,
3 minutes and then you
Yep.
can chime in. All right. So let's pretend that you are going to call. These are big time blocks. We are busy. If you're getting business, you're busy. You're hopefully you're not busy if you're not getting business. Okay. There's a lot of us that aren't getting anything and we just make ourselves busy. It's this George Costanza effect from Seinfeld, where if I walk around looking annoyed all the time, people are going to think I'm busy. So we convince ourselves that we're busy. But we're not getting any business. But if you're getting business, I recognize you're busy. You might not have time to jump on the phone for big blocks of hours every day or every week. In a case like that, if you're going to call, I encourage you to maybe pick 5 leads a day and just do those 5 leads a day. Okay, I've got a bunch of home light leads that I've got to call today, and it's only 3. I'm just going to make 3 calls. That's what I'm looking for. And if they don't answer, I'll call them again. So that might be 6 total calls. If you're going to use a VA, especially if it's an offshore VA, my encouragement is to use them for the lead scrubbing. Who answers the phone? Which numbers are bad? Was someone mad? Were they generally happy but a little bit standoffish? And then I call everyone that answered. So I use them to kind of tell me who answered and it is the right number. That way I'm not really pursuing anyone that has never answered the phone, or it's just Bob's Pizza Shop when I'm looking for Mary, that kind of thing. So that helps me be more refined and specific when I do make my calls. lot more on that. David, what do you do? Well, we kind of know what David does. David mails, but what do you have to say on this topic?
Uh, yeah, I mean, you just gotta for being busy, I guess. You gotta have a calendar and you gotta follow it, which I don't make a lot of calls either these days, which it's always on my time blocking from 10 to 12.
Mm-hmm.
But as you get more, I I suggest if you have nothing and you starting from nothing, you need to make the calls because you're going to learn the personalities of the different people within your probate data that you're buying. But as soon
Yep.
as you build up capital, you're going to have money to spend for letters. And there's a process of adding to that over time too. So you're going to have to take baby steps, call the people, just get a feel for you never know who you're going to meet. Most of these people are either they just lost somebody, they're upset, they're very emotional, or they're ready to take action and get a house sold. And they're getting lots of calls from investors that if you're a realtor, you could get in between that and help them get a higher price for the property or buy it. Just don't be scared to make the call because that's going to be probably your foundation. If you take foundations probate, you got to start somewhere, and you're not going to start with social media without past clients or referrals or reviews. I wouldn't. It doesn't make any sense. I wouldn't want to send mail if I don't have reviews online of past clients. So you're going to have to talk the talk on the phone before you do all those other steps. But those other steps took me almost 7 years to do. So I mean,
Yep.
I love making the calls. All like Bruce said, making 20 calls a day to a high targeted list like probate, you're probably going to talk to one person. That one person is going to want to sell now or in 2 months that you have to follow up with. So
Mhm.
that's my advice.
I would chunk it down into a tighter list, and I like to encourage people to build leverage for themselves. So, what's that mean? Somebody comes in and they say, "Hey, I only want attorney referrals." Well, you don't get attorneys to start referring you with consistency on day one. So, what a lot of times you do is you call your probate leads, you mail your probate leads, you talk to vendors, you talk to attorneys. And as your business starts to swing from mostly directly from heirs into attorneys, you have the ability to leverage yourself out of the cold calling. Maybe you leverage yourself out of spending money mailing to personal representatives. Or maybe you're doing it the other way. Maybe you're trying to leverage yourself out of cold calling and into getting most of your business from direct mail. So you kind of call while you're doing direct mail until direct mail starts to really produce something predictable, until it starts bringing in the business that you're looking for. And then you have the choice. Am I going to continue to call and get business from both? Or am I just going to double down on the thing that I really wanted to do anyway, which was mail, or the double down on the thing I really wanted to do anyway, which just get attorney referrals? Um, you're going to do a lot of things until that one thing that you really love is producing where you want it to produce, though. I don't think you have to
Yeah.
run around like a chicken with your head cut off and go crazy doing everything, but do a little bit of a lot of things. You're probably going to call a little bit, mail a little bit, talk to attorneys a little bit, maybe do some content online a little bit. Okay. And one is eventually going to start getting some really good traction. And then you go, do I keep doing all four of these? Or do I double and triple and quadruple down on the thing that's getting traction? And that's where
Or hire someone to do it for you.
right, or find someone to do the thing that you hate. And that's where some of our folks that have been very successful in the program have gotten. Bill, attorneys, David, mail, me. I like calling and content online. But there's a lot of people that have different approaches and they just kind of figure out what their superpower is going to be once they get traction in that area.
But really get down and nitty gritty on probate. We're very successful with it. I don't win every listing appointment I go on, but I'm highly trained through other coaching programs how to present myself to win that business. Most of the times when I lose a, a listing or a house, there's just somebody else it's their favorite person that's been talking to longer than me, and they're just read that. I always say read that. What's my most favorite book right now is Full Fee Agent. I mean, 80 pages you can read in no time. It just
Was
reminds
Chris
you to, yeah.
was Chris Voss involved in that book?
Well, he was co-author, so
Okay.
it's a great book. And then they got training videos on YouTube too. But it just reminds you, like I'm in another coaching program right now, and I'm memorizing my listing presentation again.
Mm.
And not that I need it, but it just brings me back to the fundamentals of what to say when you're in front of somebody, with your tie downs, with your swings, your rises, your memorization to go through 28 steps while you're in front of them as a memory tool. So you don't have to. I've learned that carrying nothing to an appointment is more beneficial to me now, because they don't constantly think, what is he going to make me sign? You know, there's just little tricks everywhere. Yeah.
Love it. Hey, let's go to Randy. Randy, you got a question.
Not a question, but well, kind of a question. Were you familiar with the federal court ruling that came out a couple of weeks ago about the do not call list and solicitations?
Fill us in.
Okay.
I've heard a little bit, but probably nowhere near as much as you have.
The court basically ruled that as an investor, not a realtor, but as an investor, you're not soliciting because you're trying to buy their property. But if you're a realtor, you are trying to sell your services to list that property. So that is covered under the do not call list. But if you're an investor, calling and texting is not covered under the do not call list. That is, what is the name of this court case? It was Cofey, Cofey versus Fast Easy Offer.
Kofi versus Fast Easy Offer. Guys, go read that. If you see a link, drop it in chat, Randy. If not, that's fine. We'll try to find someone for the show notes later. I did hear that, and very interesting. So realtors on here, all the more reason to get yourself in a position. And it doesn't mean that you have to come up with $400, $500, $200,000 cash if you don't have it. But get yourself in a position where you can legitimately make offers on properties. It's one of the reasons why in the scripts that I teach in Mastery, I don't say, hey, could I interview for the job? Are you going to list? I don't say anything like that. I say, if you're going to sell, do you think maybe I could make you an offer? And I say it like that. I say it exactly like that. I found that pacing really works. So they go, I don't know if I'm going to sell yet. And I say, I completely understand. Listen, if 7, 8 months down the road, you guys did think about or maybe decide to sell, do you think maybe there's any chance that I might be able to bring you an offer? Nobody ever says no. Now, they will clarify. They will reframe their position. Most of the time, they'll say, like I said, which is one of the things that I like to avoid. I don't want people to have to say, like I said, Bruce. But I don't mind it here. They'll say, like I said, we don't know if we're going to sell yet, but yes, if we do sell, you can bring an offer. Now, I'm a broker, okay? I am probably going to list the property. I'd like to make an offer as well, but I'm framing myself as bringing an offer, and I'm in a position where I can bring an offer. I've pulled funding together to be able to do that, either with investor partners or hard money or credit stacking or traditional DSCR lending, a lot of different ways that you can bring an offer, even if you're a realtor and your whole objective is to list the house. Now, on the flip side, when I'm face to face, I'm also going to present a listing offer. And I know that most of the people in my market are going to lean toward the listing offer. You might be in a market where most everyone's going to lean toward the cash offer. So with what Randy said, I don't see Randy on here now. Randy, thank you for bringing that up, because with what Randy said, you're going to be a lot safer if you're positioning yourself as an investor. I don't position my opening positioning is not realtor or investor. My opening position is guide and resource provider. That's my opening position. And I'm not selling my guides and I'm not selling my resource packages. Now, the conversation will shift into real estate later if it's going well.
Yeah. I did post that out there in the chat box too.
Oh, perfect. Okay. We are going to have a boatload of links to put into the transcript. So I really appreciate it. Queenie, help me keep track of all this stuff.
But that's a game changer for investors.
Yeah, big time. Okay. What else? We got about 15 minutes. 15 minutes, guys, before we go. We've got room for other questions, commentary. Do I have any of my top contributors and producers in here that have anything that you'd like to share? Asghar, let's come back to you. I might have gotten your name wrong again. Did I?
No, Oscar is fine.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, Bruce, like, this is my first time. So I have, for example, if I have any questions, tomorrow, day after tomorrow, and if I need help right away, who should I call and who should I contact and what's the process,
So the fastest way for help, I don't want to say the fastest way. The best way to get substantive help is to come to the Tuesday coaching call. Now, maybe it's Wednesday and you can't wait 6 days. So email support@probatemastery.com. If it's system related, support@probatemastery.com. If it's if it's kind of content strategy related, then I might say book a discovery call with Lou, our course advisor, so that he can get you on my calendar. So discovery calls are over on probatemastery.com homepage. You can always book one of those. That'll get you with Lou. If it's something that he can't answer, then he'll put you on my calendar.
But those are not free, right?
The discovery calls are free. If it's something that you need one or two times here and there, I'm not going to charge anything for a 15-minute call on my time, so Lou can book you with me. If it's ongoing, then I would say jump into our group coaching program that's coming up, kind of a new relaunch coming up in the next couple of weeks, or we can always do kind of advanced one-on-one coaching as well. But I'm certainly not going to be bothered if you email support@Probate Mastery, if you book a discovery call with Lou, and he'll put you on my calendar once or twice. It's not an ongoing thing. Or if you can wait a couple of days, make sure that you're showing up on the Tuesday coaching call. A lot of times people email in a question and I'll be able to use it as content. So I'll be able to take your email and do a little video with the answer, and then we can publish it for everyone to see if it's something that's strategy related.
So can you please publish put them in the links in the chat box so that.
Definitely. So Queenie just put support@probatemastery.com in the chat box. And then on the homepage of Probate Mastery, there's a discovery call. Now, most people that book a discovery call are normally looking to get into our next group coaching program. So group coaching is 12 weeks long. There's between 25 and 30 workshops. There's biweekly strategy, different things like that. So the majority of people that book a discovery call are looking for group coaching. If somebody is looking for that, book a discovery call on our homepage on probatemastery.com. But if you need, like, hey Bruce, I want to book 15 minutes, book a discovery call. Lou will get you on my calendar.
And what's the link for that one?
That one, just go to the probatemastery.com and there you go. Lou just put a direct link for his Calendly in there. Now that'll go to Lou. He'll try to answer it. If he can't, he brings it to me.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Amazing. Cam, you're driving. Be safe.
Yeah, thank you. So first and foremost, how you doing, Bruce? How's your day going, buddy?
Really good, man. How are you? You there? Freezing up on us. Cam, come back in when your connection's a little bit better. Say something now, and then I'm gonna go to Bill if it's not working. Can you hear us? Nope. Let's go to Bill. We'll grab Cam in a few minutes.
I have a question. I did not have a question. I wanted to share kind of what's possible from this program, if I could, just in a minute or two, kind of an exciting opportunity. Literally a week ago yesterday, I was laying in bed in the hospital after a procedure. Now, it was something that was planned a while. It wasn't life and death, but it's in the hospital. I'm literally laying in bed. I get an email from a fiduciary, which is like a family that had a probate or an attorney that I talked to previously. Never met her in person, never mailed her anything. I didn't cold call her, But I did talk to her in the course of marketing my YouTube channel. I had interviewed her on my YouTube channel about a year and a half ago, and she called me about a property about a year ago. We never talked since. I've never followed up with her on the property since. The email was simply, we're now looking to sell this property. Can you sell it? And I replied, yes. I emailed her the contract and she signed it. It's a duplex, Hermosa Beach, worth about $1.9 million. Now, what I mean to say by all that is we spend so much. Why did I do that? Because I took probate mastery and came out of the class committed to learning to be so valuable. The people just ask me to list their property. And I think the focus sometimes, particularly for newer people, is so much on how do I get somebody to choose me? And I'll cold call, and that's not to say you shouldn't call, and I'll mail them, not to say you shouldn't mail. Yeah. But what you're not doing is creating a desire in your prospect to want to work with you. That's the challenge, and that's the unique aspect of probate.
I know you guys just saw the Sorry, Bill. I was looking for my YouTube channel.
I think coming up. That's the unique difference between probate mastery and why I come in this community versus the other ones. The other ones are just selling you data, telling you to cold call. They don't care what the law is. Bruce does. He's a practitioner. That's why I'm here, because you want to learn to be a master. Mastery was the term they used for this program. And I do believe in some regards to people, I look like a master. That's why they choose me, not interview me amongst 8 other real estate agents. So I just want to throw that out there as a mindset shift maybe for some of you.
Bill, played perfectly into something that I had wanted to share, and I'd kind of forgotten about it. A couple of months ago, I went down to Florida for a real estate coaching conference, and I was there just to kind of talk a little bit about the probate and the estate administration niche. And I didn't know anything about the coaching organization. It's a guy that runs it. His name's Neil Mathwig. If anyone knows Neil, great guy, good coaching program called Agent Rise. And they teach a 3-pronged approach to growing your business. And the first prong, and they're for real estate agents, investors, recognize that you guys don't focus on sphere of influence so much, but us realtors, we do. So their first prong is sphere of influence. You gotta have a strong sphere of influence and maintain those relationships, and they need to trust you. Second prong is the chase business. So chase is one of the things that myself and David do. Call, mail, we're chasing business. We are putting ourselves in front of someone that doesn't know who we are. The third prong is what Bill is describing, and it's the attract business. It is they are attracted to me through my positioning in the market. How have I positioned myself? Content. Bill does weekly emails. He does weekly YouTube videos and live calls. He puts himself out there in a way that his marketing and his content and his interaction makes him very visible, and it causes business to be attracted to him. He didn't have to chase the fiduciary. It was an attraction-based business. Now, I believe that you need all 3. Let me take that back. You don't need all 3. I believe it's beneficial to have all 3. A strong sphere of influence, even for you investors. A good chase side of your business. Really good on the phone, really good marketing that's dropping in front of people, but you also need to have really good attraction-based business so that people reach out to you that you maybe previously didn't even know who they are. And that's what Bill just described. Bill, is that right? Did I get that?
Yeah.
Did I pin where that came from?
Yeah, I would add one other little piece to fine point it also is, I think that if all you do is chase petitioners or administrators, that feels like a job. And as realtors, I think we're trained to be free or commission-only employees for our broker. That's why all the brokerage is always teaching us, I think, what's good for the broker, not good for the agent, versus building a business. A business is primarily looking for people who can refer you people on a regular basis. Now, you might chase, to use your term, petitioners to get to the opportunity to have an attorney relationship with that attorney. But the goal should be to develop a series of regular business that comes from people who can refer you business. And that could be other agents, that could be attorneys, that could be health professionals, could be a lot of people, but that should be the focus.
Absolutely. Man, I love that. All right. Cool. Before I give Cam another try, and I don't even see Cam, he might have dropped off. I want to show you guys something that I've recently added in. There's a handful of people that just said that you are in the middle of taking, and I know a lot of people on here have already taken the Probate Mastery course. So I am sharing my screen. If you already took it or you are in the middle, I want you to know that I'm currently in adding lessons and content. I'm beefing up the Chad Corbett version of Probate Mastery certification. I've made the decision to use our 2.0 program. Now, anyone that already bought Probate Mastery and got 2.0, you have it. It's in. We're not taking it away from you. But I've made the decision to use our Probate Mastery 2.0 program as the backbone for our group coaching product that we are relaunching in a couple of weeks. With that said, I want to add more value into what you guys get with the certification course. So I'm currently done with lesson 1. What I've done is I've gone through all of session number 1 in the Probate Mastery program, and I've added areas where I think things have changed. I think different markets respond different ways, where I disagree with Chad, where I agree, but I'm expanding on it, things like that. So we've added 7 lessons into session number 1 of Probate Mastery. So that's session number 1, Master the Probate Process. We added in a spin on the probate numbers. I added in a group of common assets and when probate is needed on those assets versus not needed, explanations on small estate exemptions. So we are in here actively beefing up the Probate Mastery certification course. Not that it needed to be beefed up, but I had things that I wanted to put in there. Okay. So if you've already taken session 1 at some point in the past, whether it was yesterday or a year ago, maybe go back in and take a look at the lessons that we're adding over the next couple of days. I'll be adding additional lessons into session 2, where we're talking about business planning and business strategy, and many additional lessons into session 3, where we're talking about your sales and service strategy. Sales and service is prospecting, marketing, and appointment heavy. So those are the 3 things that I'm going to be adding in. So if you go back in, just know that as of today, it's June 24th, 2025, I've filled out session 1 completely. And then over the next couple of days, sessions 2 and 3, we're going to have 20 to 25 hours of training content in this thing by the time it's all said and done. So if you guys want to go back and catch a few of those lessons, jump back into your portal, and hopefully it's valuable to you. Cam, there you are. What's happening?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Oh, well, first of all, thank you. And so, before we were talking, like, I was just thinking prospecting the attorney, and we were talking about gatekeepers, right? So I would always go into like, prospecting attorney or door knocking with like, oh, I got to get past the paralegal, right? And then the other day, yesterday, I get to a paralegal and they're like, oh, because they're like obviously like how do I say it, like the keeper of the keys, right?
Mhm.
They're like, oh, I'll reach out to you myself. The attorney's busy, so from time to time, because now I'm a mobile notary and now I do all this other stuff. And they're like, oh, I'll just reach out to you if we have an estate or if we need to clean something out. I could just come to you directly. Then that just like gave me a light bulb, and I was like, all those paralegals that I was just trying to like get around, I could just befriend them before I even befriend the attorney, right? And yeah, it kind of shifted my whole perspective on that. Now when I go in, when I go in door knock, I'm going to go for the paralegal first, then the attorney.
Yeah. So it's kind of funny that you bring this up, because this has been a light bulb for a couple of people over the last 3 or 4 months that I've heard from, and including myself, as I always spent so much time trying to finagle the gatekeeper, finagle the paralegal, and try to get around them, and they don't like it. There's no better way to kind of make an enemy than to make someone feel like they're not important and your level is above them. They're partially wanting to shield their attorney. But then I started asking myself exactly what you had. Who develops the relationship with the attorney's client first? And
Hmm.
who probably carries most of the interaction with that client? It's more than likely the paralegal or the junior attorney.
Yep.
It's a secretary. They might not carry the workload, but they still typically create have the first interaction. They get to know what the person. Maybe they do intake. So I think what you're saying is unbelievably valuable and something that maybe we should stop trying to pretend like they're not that important to the relationship and the referral relationship. Maybe they're the most important person.
And that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking they're more important than the attorney. I mean, the attorney's important, obviously, but I think they're more important because it's like having the king's ear, right? They have that, like they can be like, hey, I just met this guy Cam. He's really nice, or whatever it is.
Hmm.
And I noticed that when the girl said that yesterday, I was like, why haven't I been going after the paralegal? So the next thing I door knocked, I went in there. The guy was like, first thing I asked was like, "You a paralegal?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Oh, all right." Well, and I started talking to him, seeing like, like trying to build a rapport with him. I didn't even ask for the attorney card. I just was like telling him what I did, well, what I do, the spiel, you guys' the spiel. And he was like, "Oh, awesome." He's like, "Yeah, from time to time, da da da." He's like, "Yeah." And I didn't even ask about the attorney. He's like, "Yeah, I'll try to get you 15 minutes with the attorney if I can, but he's super busy." And I was just like, "Oh, it works." So I'm definitely about to go full fledged, like paralegal, then attorney, Because most of the time when I go in, I'm talking to them any a certain amount of time, and it's kind of crazy.
That's awesome. Good stuff, Cam. Appreciate that
Yeah.
input. So, folks, we are at the end
Yeah, I just
of
figured
the
it'd probably
hour.
help somebody else out.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's going to help a lot of people out because a lot of us are very intimidated by going after attorneys and maybe not so intimidated by pursuing a relationship with a paralegal. So, thanks, Cam. We are at the end of the hour, guys. Greatly appreciate everybody being here. If you are not in the certification program, probatemastery.com, just jump over there and check it out. We've got 2 flagship courses and a relaunch of our 12-week group coaching program coming out very, very, very soon. Within the next couple of weeks is the relaunch. We're putting an email out in the next couple of days to invite anyone onto a discovery call or into that. If you want to jump on our calendar and hear a little bit about the group coaching program, 12 weeks, very affordable. Go to probatemastery.com and click a discovery call under the group coaching product. Okay, it's right there on the homepage. Hard to miss. If you're not already a certified probate expert, consider taking the Probate Mastery course that I just kind of showed those that were already in it, what we were adding to. We also have Earn, which is our attorney course. So Earn Attorney Referrals Now. Most people add it at half price into their Probate Mastery program. It's all about building attorney relationships. So what Cam was just talking about. Bill has tons of attorney relationships. David has attorney relationships. A lot of our people are really good with attorneys. So that's something pretty valuable. Douglas just asked, what's the cost to repeat the course? When you have the course, you have complete lifetime access. So there's no cost to repeat it. Anyone that has already been in some kind of coaching with me, you are grandfathered in and you can join in on the group coaching program for free as well. All right. Really appreciate you guys being here. Thanks so much. See everybody next Tuesday.